Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. We are from group 8. Would like to present our presentation, and we consist of me, Nabila Fairuz Zahira, Nisa Ilmia, and Dea Deva Oxtaviana. We are gonna answer the question about the creative response of the orientation story. So the first question is, describe an experience where you were excited about something new until you found out everything that came along with the job. How does this relate to the orientation? So from this question, we are gonna explaining our first experience before becoming into the college. Getting into college is mostly everyone's dreams, just like we used to be. When we were in high school, people were craving to be quickly graduated and being college student instead. Why? We need freedom. We thought by being college students, life would be easier and prosperous. Wearing clothes as we wanted, getting out from home, living freely. The education system is not as harder as high school. Those are several expectations coming from most of high school students. Then, are the expectations becoming true? The answer might be different based on the individual's views. So in here we are gonna look at the Deva's experience. So Deva, is your turn now. Time is yours.
Alright, Nabila, thank you so much for the opportunity which has been given to me. Now, I would like to explain about my experience. My experience where I was excited about something new was the first time I was a student at university. I felt everything was just fine and perfect. I have so many friends from different regions which of course have a different culture than mine. It was really fun because we could share the story about our region and culture. I can also get new experiences from them. As time goes by, I feel like everything is different. I feel each of my friends has started to show their characteristics. They started to use their own language that sometimes I can understand. Even though I'm from Semarang and most of my friends are Japanese too, I think they have a different language or maybe they used a different dialect to me. I felt unfamiliar with their dialect, even though I understood what they were talking about. However, sometimes I also find some of their vocabulary that I didn't know the meaning of, so I just guess what they mean. That makes me confused and even a little bit harder to adjust myself to them because sometimes I don't understand what they are talking about. And next, besides that, when I was in high school, I was so excited when I thought about college. I expected that in college I would have a lot of friends from a different region. I could wear any clothes I wanted and I didn't need to study every day. It seemed really fun because it was really different from school habits. However, I have a lot of friends from different regions and I found it a little bit more difficult to adjust to them because I don't know the characteristic of each person in each region. So I have to be careful with my behavior to avoid misunderstanding between us. I could wear any clothes I wanted, but as time went by, I actually felt confused about choosing clothes because I felt that I had used all of these clothes. In college, of course, we have a different education system than in high school. We are usually in high school, we go to school in the morning and back home in the afternoon. Then we do it every day from Monday to Friday. However, in college, we have a schedule which is different each day and we have to be ready for it. Alright, that's all from me. And the next slide will be presented by Nisa Ilmia. Nia, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, Deva, thanks for the opportunity that has given to me. Now, I would like to talk about my experience. Since I became college student, I moved to another city, which is located in Semarang, Central Java. The funny thing is, even though I came from the same Central Java, the language is much more different. Is much far different. Um, So I got a culture shock the first time I lived there. I had difficulties to communicate even though the basic ones were badly delivered by me. It took a pretty long time to be adapted. When I already knew and understood Semarang's language, the jokes didn't fit me well. It got no sense for me personally. But I'm obligated to enjoy living there as it will ease my study if I enjoy it. That's probably my biggest culture shock in my college life. Gratefully, now I'm much more better and not become my culture shock anymore. Okay, now I would like to explain about our experiences in a nutshell, or the conclusion of our experiences. First, from those experiences, we think they are related to the orientation story. Because what we imagine about something new turns out to be different from what we expect. Everything that we think is beautiful and fine turns out to be not as beautiful as imagined. Not all our expectations in living as a college student are fulfilled, particularly the educational system. It's stressing us out more than high schools. And also, they will be weird and unbelievable things or something that we never expected before but actually exist. Um, Based on our experience, we know that college is not as fun as we thought. There are a lot of things that are different from what we expected, especially in terms of the educational system. Then, based on the orientation, we also know that the office environment is not as simple or as normal as we imagine. The problems that occur are not only about work, but also the personalities of other employees that we have to know and are really important to understand. It means that we don't need to have high expectations about something new and we have to try to understand the circumstances there so that we can adjust ourselves to that something new. Thank you. Okay, the next slide will be presented by my friend. Nabila, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mia, for the time. And here we are gonna move to the second question. The second question is, if you were the trainee, what would be going through your mind when you hear all of these different stories about the people in your office? Why do you think the lady was revealing all of this information? So this is based on my perspective. So if I was a trainee, I would think that those employees are having vary of characteristics. They are not as simple as I imagined when I came here for the first time. Before I get into the office, I was thinking about the employees or my soon-to-be co-workers are quite diligent and having a normal life. But when I already standing in here at the orientation event, I realized there are some unbelievable and weird characteristics from the employees. And it turns out my mind that everyone in here is definitely different from what I've expected before. They are not same in particular. Every employee in here has their own unique and weird characteristics. Or maybe weird relationships, just like described by the lady. I believe that those characteristics are having their own backgrounds. So, even though I was a little bit surprised from the story that told by the lady, I still believe that their backgrounds are affecting their personalities or characteristics. But although they have a different background from mine, I realize that every people's background are not really important, and we do not have to think about it. So, when the lady said, "But we are not supposed to know any of this. Do not let on. If you let on, you may be let go." I, myself, understand that we do not have to know about their backgrounds. All I can do for the employee is just to understand them and make friends, of course, to build a team for the office. And lastly, I think the lady revealing all of this information to let me know what kind of my coworkers soon. This is quite normal, I guess, because I think it's important to knowing our team's characteristics. And I think I do not really care of first impression because I think first impression is not very important since we will find out what kind of our friends or our team's characteristics later. The ladies' reveal also helps me to adjust myself to this new office, new circumstances that I do not really understand about the environment. Orientation helps me to understand my new place, so I do not need to having a high expectation for this office. So that's all from us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.